actually play for it to play.
There you go.
Good morning.
You do like this song, don't you?
I do. 24 more playings of this. And then we'll move on to something else. But I do like it. It's extremely cheerful.
Yeah, it is.
And clever. I think it's incredibly clever to take an existing song out of from 3/4 to 4/4. Really interesting. So, good morning. Happy December. My gosh, it's December,
It
Dr.
is.
Mary.
We survived 2020.
But I wouldn't put it in past tense yet, sir. We got 30 long days to
But
go.
it's nothing. Yeah, it's all good. It's all
No, 30 days is a lot of days.
good. Best month of the year.
Yes, that may be true for some of us.
What's your birthday in December?
Also true. So, happy December. Happy first actual day of Advent. Whether or not you celebrate Advent from a religious perspective or not, there is something sort of lovely about those 4 weeks leading up to Christmas, and that what I love about the idea of Advent is that sort of preparing, getting ready on the wait for something, whether you have a connection to the birth of Jesus story or not.
Well, and it's also the run-up to all the other major religious holidays that are actually happen in the next 3
well,
weeks.
yes, but they're not attached to Advent.
So I'm sure you have that nice childlike feeling in your stomach. And, ooh, I think it's been long enough this year that you can actually start plan ahead a little safely.
Well, I think it's why we've seen so many Christmas trees go up in the middle of November. I think people feel like, screw it. This has been a rough year. I'm putting up my Christmas tree.
Yeah, there's a lot of. They went up early this year.
They did. We
You
haven't
notice
put
that?
ours up yet.
You notice this when you're walking a dog slowly around
Yep.
the block at night.
We usually put ours up December 15th to commemorate or remember the day that my grandma died. So I think we'll put ours up a little bit earlier than that this year too, because in case you haven't deduced this, Christmas is Dr. Mary's most favorite time of year. He would have it get dark at 4 o'clock so that you have to build a fire and sit down by the Christmas tree probably almost every day of the year if he could. Not me. Christmas is a fine, lovely holiday. I don't love it like he does.
There is someone, I haven't met this individual, but it was an interesting thing to see. So it was June, we were in Honolulu, and the first morning we were there, opened up the blinds in our Airbnb,
Right.
and one of the apartment blocks across the street in the balcony, they had Christmas decorations.
That's right, I forgot
And
about
I just
that.
thought, well, that's cool, it's bizarre, it's weird, and it's funny.
That was
All
more
at the same-
Christmas even than you, Dr.
Yeah.
Mary. So today I'm going to pull my most narcissistic moment, I think, yet in 102 episodes of Daily Dose, and I'm going to read you something that I wrote. I wrote it in Inspired Home in 2016, but it's easier to read it than to try to explain what I'm talking about. So it's called Advent in Reverse. When I was little, my grandma often sent my brothers and me Advent calendars to celebrate the season. They were beautifully painted Dickensian cityscapes with groups of carolers singing on street corners and garlands strewn all over the door frames. 24 little windows opened to reveal chocolates shaped like Christmas ornaments. I remember searching for the number and perforating that day's window to eat that little bite of milk chocolate. When my son was little, I purchased a large wooden reindeer Advent calendar that's Scandinavian themed, bright red with white piping and 24 little drawers that open to reveal whatever gifts I wanted to include. There's something wonderful about a small daily task that has a limited time commitment and leads up to something celebratory, in this case, Christmas. But there's also something a bit excessive about it. The holidays are already filled with so much: parties, presents, decorating, and the like. Do we really need one more element that's all about receiving? What if Advent became about giving? I recently came across the idea of a reverse Advent calendar. The first one I saw used 2 wine boxes because they each have 12 slots. I think that's actually kind of ironic for Daily Dose, but that's a different story. But you wouldn't have to be so specific. You could use any box you wanted. The idea is that every day of Advent, you put in something that your local food bank or homeless shelter needs. Socks, shampoo, canned goods, mittens, toothpaste, etc. I would encourage one item that is more of a gift than a necessity. When you've reached the end of Advent, December 24th, you drop off your filled boxes. I really love this idea because, again, I'm not totally comfortable with an additional expected daily present, however small, at this time of year, particularly for young children. I think it's important to get them thinking about how they can be of service to others. If my son were little, I would purchase all the supplies needed to fill the 24 days and then let him pick which one he wanted to put into a box every day. You could decorate the boxes together so that there's an added element of festivity around the whole project. Think of the important conversations you could have about giving and not just receiving. It's so easy to get caught up in the materialism of the season. This is such a wonderfully simple way to help children remember to think about others and to be enthusiastic in their giving. I already have my box ready and am thinking about the kinds of items I'm going to put into it every day starting December 1st. I hope you will join me and that we will bring a collective and joyful holiday spirit to those who need it most. So actually that year we did this for my brother's children, our nephew and nieces, and it was easier that year because there were only 2 of them at the time. So we got 48 things and we put them in bags, and then they got to pick every day what they wanted to put into their Advent box, and then they went and delivered them with my brother. And we did it last year too. Now there are 3 of them. So it starts to get a little bit spendy after a while. But I think there is something really important and really valuable about reminding everybody, not just children, but reminding people that there are a lot of people struggling, not just during Christmas, but Christmas is a time when you can do something very specific. I mean, you always deliver socks and other things to the Dorothy Day House. You do all kinds of things. And in this year, where the need is probably greater than it maybe ever has been, I think it's a great way to mindfully prepare to give something to someone else. But I'm wondering if there's a way to relate this to addicts. You know, if there's something really special and intentional we could think about 24 days of what? Around staying sober. And we didn't talk about this, so I'm a little bit putting you on the spot.
Yeah, so I'm not trying to look sort of incredibly pensive. I'm sitting here going, oh, say something sensible.
Well, okay, so I have a thought.
Think about
if you are
actually,
someone...
I mean, say the Serenity Prayer.
I don't like the Serenity Prayer.
But it's the prayer of the still suffering alcoholic.
I know. Who cares that I don't like it? It feels kind of insipid to me.
You know, I don't mean, just think about someone that you know who could be struggling, or just think about the people that are. I don't mean go out and find someone and, slip them a $10 bill or something, but just think about if there's a halfway house or something and you know they're in need of something, just, go to Sam's Club and buy 10 socks. It'll help. Or, it doesn't have to be men's socks. It could be, article
Yeah,
of
there are
women's
a
clothes.
lot of women addicts as well.
Bring it to some women who are going to halfway house actually go to the YWCA. So bring them something, because they do great work for all kinds of women in trouble. So, do a little thing for those too at Christmas. This time of year, which is the holiday season.
Yeah, and I think if you are someone who is in sobriety, enjoying sobriety, can you reach out to someone who isn't over the next 24 days? Can you send a text of support every day from today until Christmas Eve? Can you make a phone call? Can you check back in with somebody from the group that you went through rehab with? Can you reach out to somebody in your AA group? Even if it's somebody enjoying sobriety, can you be a support for 24 days? I would think that could be really powerful.
I was thinking just last night, actually, I was thinking about people I haven't seen since March. I mean, I go to Zoom AA meetings where I usually see about the same 14 or 15 people. I haven't gone for a couple of weeks because we've actually just been busy. But I'm a little burnt out of Zoom sometimes. But it's hard to think, when you think about someone, you think, oh my God, I wonder what that person's doing. And if you only know their first name, it's incredibly important. It's almost impossible to try and work out how to get hold of them to see how they're doing.
Yeah.
I think it's the only downside to how AA actually works. The A part, or the second A in AA, is a bit of a roadblock when you're actually thinking about seeing how someone's doing, because of course you actually realise how little you know about this person.
Well, okay, so because I don't go to AA, maybe it's about get on your AA Zoom meeting if you've been going and send a message in chat to somebody in the group and ask if you can have their phone number, or ask if you can email them, or I mean, however you want to communicate. I think there's real power in some kind of daily affirmation, whether you are on a recovery path or you're just going through life. We all have up and down days, and a small note of affirmation
Would actually,
makes a difference. I've never gotten a note from someone randomly and thought, what a waste. This has been an awesome day and I didn't need that. I've never, ever, ever
No, it
thought
does
that.
pick you up.
Yeah. So if you've been thinking about somebody, let them know you've been thinking about them. And if you have to do a little sleuthing to find them because you are only connected through AA, then get on that AA call, that Zoom call, and send a private message to that person. That's a great way to do it. You would give your number out to somebody, wouldn't you?
God, yeah.
Yeah. So think about getting 24 things that a food bank or a local shelter could use. Start putting them together today. And my ministry, Rich Zeck, who I quote all the time, used to say something really, really great. He used to say, if you like Kraft macaroni and cheese, don't buy the generic macaroni and cheese. Buy the Kraft macaroni and cheese. Buy this food that you want to eat. Buy the toothpaste that you want to use. Buy the good socks.
Oh,
Don't
that's
buy
good.
the cheap stuff, because everybody wants the nice stuff. So do what you can, and if you can't spend any money for whatever reason, then figure out who you can send a text to, because that only costs your time. And time is something we all have a fair amount of
we have
right
a bit
now,
more of it now.
if we're not doctors and nurses and other frontline workers. That's another group you could send a note to. All we see on the news is how exhausted doctors and nurses are. If you have a doctor or a nurse in your life, send them a positive note every day for 24 days. See if it doesn't make a difference for them too. So tomorrow we are
Oh, we're back in the kitchen.
baking. We're not baking. We're warming stuff up. And I sent out the ingredients yesterday. This actually is supposed to take about 24 hours. So I think I'm going to start ours today, but we'll do a little bit of it tomorrow.
Oh, here's one we made
too.
earlier.
Yeah,
Yes.
like a real cooking show. So we'll see you tomorrow
Fantastic.
morning in our kitchen at 8:30. Have a great day, and let us know what you decide to do to celebrate Advent and
Yeah,
this
it'd be interesting
season
just
of
to
waiting.
hear what you're going to do.
See you soon.
See you
Bye.
tomorrow.